We're good.
Good morning. Call this meeting of the Shreve Memorial Library Board Control to order. We have, well, let's establish a quorum. We do have a quorum. Do we have any guest speakers this morning? No guest speakers. At this moment, let us take a moment for brief meditation, and certainly we want to continue to think about the Shreve Memorial Library family and the Tuggle family in these days as we move forward. Thank you. Do we have any public comment? Okay. As we move to approve the agenda, I would like to. Did y'all receive the email? Nobody?
I didn't put it back.
Did we have?
I didn't receive.
All right. If you would review the agenda, and I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda as you're reviewing. We have, as item 5, going into a closed session. Due to the nature of the business that we will discuss, we will not have to go into executive session. We're simply discussing the process, nothing sensitive. So I would like to recommend that we remove the executive session, and again, we'll just discuss our business as usual. Can I get a motion to?
I make a motion to remain the closed session.
Can I get a second? Second. All those in favor of removing the executive closed session, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. After reviewing the agenda, does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? May I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended? So moved. Second. All in favor of approving the agenda as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we would like to have an update, hopefully some good news on the progress with the downtown branch.
Good morning. Update on the downtown branch. The chillers have been installed. The abatement of the roof is finished. The roofer is now doing prep work. They're still waiting on specifications and some of the materials to begin the roof work. The actual roof work is set to begin the first or second week in November. Southern has moved their equipment out of the server room, and as approved or decided on previously, the interior refresh will happen after all of these moving parts are completed. And we have Wayne and Kayla and Greg here. Susan has some information she's going to share, but they're here to answer any specific questions related to the work.
Thank you.
Just a quick update on Southern. We found out from our legal team that all the parties have decided to pretty much come together to do a motion to consolidate and move all the lawsuits into one because they were in the same court before the same judge, and it will simplify. However, when it came down to the last minute, Southern filed an opposition to the motion to consolidate. In other words, they decided they didn't like the idea of consolidating. So next Tuesday is going before a judge in Shreveport in the morning, and that judge will decide if he's going to make everybody consolidate or not make everybody consolidate, or he could do a hybrid. He could just consolidate for the purposes of depositions and things like that, and then have separate trials. So we'll find out what the judge thinks is best on Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
What judge do you have?
I do not know the name of the judge right now. have to look through the legal papers and find that out, but I can if you'd like me to.
What part of the report are we in?
I don't have that either. I don't have that email.
Is
But
it
I-
Caddo or is it
Yes, it's Caddo.
district court?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you need me to find out the name of the judge or anything?
No.
Okay.
Who's out on?
Well, we have two. We have the fact that Travelers had to appoint somebody to represent us. And then we also, because we were sued, so that means we had to file an insurance claim. And when you do that, then Travelers has to assign a lawyer. But we also engaged an attorney, Curtis Joseph, in town to file a lawsuit before the deadline to sue ran out back in April. Just, I don't know, it's kind of like a foot in the door thing, just in case we need it. So we have two things going on.
Could you refresh our memory? So Southern is suing us based on
There's
the
two
lease.
things. One is the fact that there was damage, and they said they were harmed, you know, some of their property was damaged, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they say. And they say it didn't have to happen, that perhaps parties were negligent in allowing it to become the claim it became. That seems to be their basis.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Fortenberry from the board? Thank you, Ms. Fortenberry. Anyone else with information? So in general, board, and this has been a long time coming as far as getting any type of significant progress. So to hear that the chillers have been installed and that the roof work is about to begin, it's been several months in the making. So this is very good news. Board, any other questions, comments, concerns as it relates to the downtown branch work? Okay. All right. Next, we will move into our discussion as we are still mourning passing of our executive director, Mr. Tuggle. We certainly have to continue to do the business before us. And so in an email that was sent to the team, to the entire system, I want to make it known that, again, we, in the passing of Mr. Tuggle, we know that we have to continue to do our business. And so Ms. Fox and Ms. Sutton will continue in their capacity, but they will work together in any instances where there is work that needs to be addressed as relates to from an executive director perspective. And certainly I am always available and will support and assist in any way I can. And I do want to make it clear that in general terms, no board members engage in any type of personnel matters in the business of the library. But there are extenuating circumstances that can arise, and in those extenuating circumstances, the executive, the board chair can act in the dealings, but not in any type of decision-making capacity. So simply being present for support, being present for information, say, in the absence of the executive director. But at this point, again, none of those extenuating circumstances exist. And so, again, the business will be handled by Ms. Box and Ms. Sutton. And so we feel comfortable and confident in their leadership, and I hope that the team feels the same. But now our goal is to discuss our next steps in identifying our next executive director.
I think that's a question. I'm concerned. Okay. Kevin?
Is it related to this process?
I need to talk to you on the side for a minute, see if it's related. Is that possible? Can I talk to you on the side for a minute? To see if it's related before I bring it up. Is that okay? Well, I just want to talk to him and see if I'm in order.
it's not in order, that's what,
I mean,
that's probably.
If it's, let's not bring whatever that is, if
no,
it's,
no,
if
it's
it's a
not, it's
question.
not what you think it is.
No, no, I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
But if it's not clear in your mind that
Okay,
it's
what
related
you
to the
just
process.
said about the people that, like, it will go on, and Ms. Box and Ms. Sutton will be the ones to help. All I'm asking is that, what is their position as far as what can they do? If something comes up,
They're operating in their normal functions.
the normal function.
And they
okay.
will collaborate on any items that would, the executive director would normally address. And if it's something that they will need support or assistance in as far as the decision-making process, then I will be available to them to support.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. If something come up,
Right, and that's,
will
I
they,
stated
before
that
they
I-
make a decision, before they make
Yes,
it,
I
any
will-
decision, you will have to be informed.
Absolutely, that's always been the
Yeah,
process.
that's all I want,
And
because I know, that
I'm
they-
sorry I didn't explain that clearly, I thought I said.
You know, I just like for
Yes.
things to be point blank with me.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
I don't know about anybody else, but I
Okay,
do.
all right.
Okay, that's what I.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey.
Okay.
All right, so my first question, board, we need to consider is, do we want this to be a statewide or a nationwide search?
My question is, when the last executive director, what was the procedure when the last executive director was chosen?
Okay,
And
I was the only one on the board, right here now. I'm the only one that was here on that board when that happened. And we did have some procedures. Did everybody go those? That, when you did,
Right.
we did have some procedures that we did, because I was on the board when they did that.
So I have asked a few weeks ago, a few days ago, rather, several days ago, I asked Ms. Sutton and Ms. Box to pull the information related to the previous search. I have consulted with the Louisiana Library State Library Director, as well as received some information from the American Library Association. And I have had a conversation with Mr. Neil Johnson, who served as board chair during the time that Mr. Togo was selected. And so we are going to, part of what we're doing now is about to establish our process, but we have information and we have gained some insight from subject matter experts to ensure that as we proceed, we are doing it in an appropriate manner. And again, part of the reason we're not going into an executive session is because this is an open and transparent process. Okay? All right. So yes, sir, we are going to pull the information related to the previous search.
Can we hear that information, that we have someone that can tell us what was done?
Well, I can tell you first that they hired a search firm to lead the search for the director. So I think that's gonna be the first thing you'll need to do. And I think we have to do requests for proposals for the search firm, Susan, is that correct?
I'll have to research that.
It's probably going to be, because I imagine the price point would be at a point where it would require, I would guess, but please research that if you would. So, based on what I've learned, I would recommend that we make it a national search, that we secure a search firm. We need to establish a search committee, and that search committee will consist of one board member, at least one staff member. I would like to have a patron, and I would like to get some recommendations from our branches for a patron to be on that board. And I would also like a representative from the city and a representative from the parish, being that we have affiliation with both the city and parish government. So we will establish a search committee. That search committee will follow the processes and procedures that will be put together. So we're not going to have the actual procedure 1, 2, 3 today, but again, we have to set the foundation and have a launching point today. And that's what we're doing here.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You're talking about the search committee, but the search committee is gonna be the one to bring us the recommendation for the search firm, right?
The search committee is going to be the body that will interface with the search firm, bring nothing, this board has to make the decision.
I know, but they'll bring us the information. wouldn't they?
Yes.
Okay.
But my thought is that the board makes a determination as to, on the RFP, as to who the search firm.
That's what I
will be.
said, all right.
Yes.
And then the search firm will then, I mean, I assume that you say the search firm will work with the search committee
Exactly.
to bring whatever information back to the board in order for us to make a decision.
Yes, sir. So, go ahead, I'm
The
sorry.
first thing would be to make a motion to, actually, to create, staff create an RFP utilizing the type of RFP we used the last time in order to create the RFP and then place the RFP in. We've done that. Because the RFP is probably going to take at least 30 to 45 days before we even get started good. So we're going to take
It
a
could
while
be
to
a while.
get that back first, the RFP back, then make a decision on search firm. And then at that point, you know, you'll be able to get your committee, you actually can get your committee going. So
RFP is number one.
so I make a motion that we go ahead and have staff create an RFP, present back to us, through the RFP and move forward with, you know, publishing it so that we can make a decision.
It's been motioned that we establish an RFP process. Can I get a second?
Second.
Question. I guess you say I'm questioning all the
It's
things.
okay, Ms. Bill, what is it?
Y'all know me.
Just ask the question.
Okay. What he's saying is right. But I'm not saying that anybody here may not know how to do an RFP. I'm saying, I know it take a lot. We just went through all of this. And I know that Reggie know what to do. But, and I'm just gonna say this, I know that, and Mr. Lee have been through this. I'm just saying this, been through this a lot. And I'm not saying y'all don't, Susan, and y'all don't know, okay? But it look like to me, to do that RFP, we put it out there, but who going to help establish the RFP? Because I know that Reggie is familiar, and I know he busy. But I know, and I'm just saying, Mr. Lee worked with us. But I just saying that to do that, and like he said,
Ms.
it's gonna
Bill,
take a while.
We're gonna do it right.
Oh, I'm
We're
not
gonna
knocking
make
it, please listen to me, I'm not knocking that.
We're
I'm
gonna
just
make
saying, I'm
sure
doing it
that-
right, yeah.
That is done decent
And
in
in
order
order.
and legally.
Okay. I'm
And
not knocking
transparent.
it. You know, I ain't got to answer this
The city
question.
You
controls-
start with the form you already got.
The city controls the RFP process. We can't just go willy-nilly doing stuff.
Exactly.
Okay,
So there are processes in place. This is not the first time that any entity in Shreveport, Louisiana has had to make a search. So we've had the motion, we've had a second. All those in favor of establishing an RFP, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We will appropriate staff, if you would, initiate the process, make sure that we're doing it as it's supposed to be done. Now, and thank you, Mr. Abrams, for that insight. So we know that this is not going to be an overnight process. But again, we would like to get as many things in place as we can now, so that when that RFP comes back, we get it out, we receive those responses.
we all looking at what?
People not here, we can always appoint.
No.
Point somebody not here.
I want Reggie April.
Mr. Abrams, would you agree to serve on the search committee?
I'll serve.
Thank you, Mr. Abrams. All right, so RFP process will be started as soon as possible. Again, we will establish a search committee. Mr. Abrams will serve as the board member that will be on that search committee. Again, I would like to get feedback from the branches on a recommendation for a patron that will, yes, ma'am.
I want to say that in the last search, board members selected a member of the public from the areas that they represent.
So each,
I don't know if you want to do it that way this time, but that's the way it was done.
for the search, that is on the search committee?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So, again, we'll have to decide that today, but each board member, if you would, based on the area that you represent, please consider a person
I
that
did
you
have
can.
a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I did serve as a patron in a County Parish, or just in our area. And it was when they were interviewing, well, or Mr. Tuggle, and I think there was one other at the time. There were only two, I think,
Two candidates that were brought in.
that were brought in, and so it was at that stage. Is that how it'll be, or, I'm just speaking for
Right.
what I served on.
Right.
It was towards the end.
I have like a big stack of documents from that whole process, so I would
Okay,
like an
so
opportunity to kind of review it to see.
if you will, I will, you all, the information that you've gathered, I'll review. Yes, sir.
Usually the search firm is gonna come up with the recommendations as to how, and then you decide whether to accept that or not. Let the search firm give you, once you do your RFP, the RFP is gonna tell you, they're gonna come back with telling you a proposal as to what they suggest and how they do it. And then you go through you can suggest to them that we want to have a search committee, because you don't necessarily want your committee to be, to me, you want them to go ahead and advertise or do whatever we need to do in order to bring back candidates or whatever. Then let the search committee get involved, unless you don't want them to be in the front part of it, do you?
No.
So it's really, to me, that's.
So you're suggesting wait until, before we
want to wait
Okay.
until
Right,
you
so, yeah,
get
okay.
something back, and then you decide how you're going
How
to
they
do
do
it.
it,
And
yeah.
then you have some input also from other board members.
What they
out here.
Okay, so yeah, I certainly wasn't saying that the search committee would drive this process or
Right.
be involved in any of the work that we have to do. I was saying that let's go ahead and form it so that's out of the way, but I appreciate that feedback, Mr. Abrams, and we can certainly do that. So our priority now, again, is to get that RFP put together, go through that process. Once we receive those back, then the board will review those packets, the board will decide on the firm, and then at that point, we'll start working out those other details. But again, I think it's important, and I appreciate the board's understanding as well, that this be a national search. We want to cast as wide a net as possible to get the best candidate to continue the work. Okay? So I think at this point, we've done what we need to do. Yes, sir.
My only question is budget for the search. Is that something that we need to establish before the RFP or wait till the RFP is done? But I mean, there's gonna have to be some budget for the search itself.
No, you don't have to do that. It can come out of miscellaneous or one of the other categories. We've got plenty of money in those.
Now, it's my understanding from the last search that it was somewhere between 25 to 30,000. And because again, you are hiring a firm and you're paying them for their expertise. So,
How many years ago was that?
They were like, how many years with Mr. Tony?
about 10.
Yeah,
10
about
years,
10.
18 years, that's.
So that's
what
probably,
we're doing.
that's
Double that.
sure with
They got a
COVID.
double.
But you're saying that within reason, that there should not be any issue to fund this process.
Yeah, let them come back
Plenty of
and tell you
categories,
what
we can take
they
that out.
propose as a problem, then you can,
Right.
board can make a decision what's reasonable or not, as to who you want to pick. Probably good if anyone could send the last RFP around and some of the board members look at what.
Yeah, we can look at it.
Anyway, to have some idea.
Can we do it, is it too soon to do a timeline?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't know,
Yeah,
it
'cause
is
they
too
might-
soon to do.
I mean,
it.
I'm to come up the RFP, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we
So
don't need
once
to-
the RFP is initiated.
So they'll start now working on it.
Once the decision is made on the company that will do the search, then at that point, we should be in a better position, once we.
Done, that's what I wasn't talking about. For the, they said go out and work on the RFP. I'm just saying, do we have like, in 2 weeks, y'all come back and let us back up?
There's a process,
They gotta do
there's
a process.
So
Y'all got
the
a
process
process to
has to
follow.
work.
Oh, okay.
And they'll keep us informed.
Okay. That's all, we on schedules and stuff.
All right. Any other comments, feedback as it relates to us starting this process? I think, again, we've done what we need to do at this point. Let's get this RFP process started. Keep us informed of where we are in that process, and at the appropriate time, we will, if it hadn't occurred by the time, it's probably one of the next regular meeting, we will call a meeting to review those proposals.
Yeah.
If there is nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?